Hey, everybody, before we start the show, I wanted to let you know that this episode of Tabletop Babble is brought to you by Kobold Press and the Tome of Beasts Pocket Edition. That's right, the Tome of Beasts, the amazing collection of 5th edition monsters that you have come to know and love, including the Corpse Mound, created by me, one of my first ever published, paid for by someone else monsters. Incredible. It's an incredible book. I mean, the Corpse Mound is incredible too, but the book itself, the whole thing is incredible. And now it's a portable way to carry around 400 monsters for 5th edition. That's right. The Pocket Edition includes all errata, updates, and fixes. It measures 6 by 9 inches. It fits in a briefcase, a backpack, or messenger bag with ease. Tome of Beasts Pocket Edition is available at the Kobold Press store at koboldpress.com and better game stores everywhere. So go check it out. The Tome of Beasts Pocket Edition, and tell them DSPN sent you. This is Tabletop Babble. I'm James Introcaso. On the show, I am chatting with game designer and super awesome mega dad, Matthew D. Corley. In fact, the D stands for dad because that's how great a dad this guy is. He is currently funding on Indiegogo something called Harper's Tale. Just what is it? Well, it's an amazing fundraiser project / adventure that you will get in your inbox. And hey, you can help kids who are fighting cancer when you buy it. It is inspired and helped created by Matt's daughter, Harper, who was diagnosed with cancer. I will let Matt tell you more about this incredible story because it is really his to tell. But needless to say, Matthew, dad to the world, Corley, and Harper are incredible folks, and they are making incredible games. Really, really fun stuff. So here is my chat with Matthew D. Corley. Okay, everybody, now I am here with one of my favorite people, Matt Corley. Welcome to Tabletop Babble. It's great to have you back. For people who don't know, who are you and what do you do in the world of tabletop role-playing games?
Well, thank you for having me back. It has been entirely too long. I am a game designer and a writer, primarily in D&D 5th edition, but I've also just kind of started stretching my legs a little bit with a little bit of work for Chaosium as well. I work primarily with Kobold Press and their product line. I also do a Twitch show for them that I just started recently with Will Jones. And then I also write quite a bit for Sandy Peterson over at Peterson Games, but again in 5th edition.
Yeah.
So I stay busy, and then I self-publish too. Under my imprint, Saturday Morning Scenarios. We had a Kickstarter last year, which we talked about, Lampslight Sanatorium, which is kind of like a gothic horror product. The Kickstarter went great. Haven't had a bad review yet, thankfully, and I'm going to knock on wood. So that's good. We got nominated for an Emmy for cartography. We didn't win, but we got noticed, which was pretty awesome. And my other big project for Saturday Morning Scenarios is actually Harper's Tale, which I think we'll be talking about quite a bit in a few.
Yeah, definitely. You're a busy, prolific individual. We talked a lot about the way you work and everything the last time you were here, which I think is inspiring, and it's great for people to see. And now we're going to talk about Harper's Tale. This is a project that I am really excited about. I am excited to be a small part of this project as well. So let's get into it. What is Harper's Tale?
Alrighty, so Harper's Tale, and forgive me if I my voice cracks. I did a video for it a few days ago, and had Grant sent it over to Grant to do it, and my voice still cracks. Actually, I guess when I tell this story still. So Harper is my daughter, my youngest daughter actually, and she will be 9 in September, and we have an Indiegogo campaign starting on September 3rd. And Harper's Tale is the outline of an adventure that her and I started putting together in the hospital in February of this year. On the 2nd of February, she was diagnosed with leukemia. And we went through a lot, obviously. I think a lot of you out there have been touched touched by cancer as I had before, and with Harper, and actually with friends and family since as well. And so we decided, after she got out of the hospital, which, by the way, she's doing amazing. She started maintenance. She played soccer 2 days ago, I guess. So she's a crazy busy girl running around with her cute little bald head. But Harper's Tale is a story that we put together as an outline, and it is a fundraiser. And it's a fundraiser for Friends of Kids with Cancer, which is an organization that works with kids admitted for cancer, of course, in the St. Louis area. 100% of the proceeds from the Indiegogo campaign are going to be donated directly to Friends of Cancer, Kids of Cancer. I'm going to, once I finish publishing the product, I will be writing them a check for everything that's left over. When the campaign's finished, the IP is actually going to go to Harper, and she will own it for her to use anything that's kind of we make afterwards for her college and for anything, she wants when she's 18. I think that's probably what I'll let her. I'll probably make her wait till she's 18 to get to it. And what it is it's actually an adventure path. It's a forest adventure path that I have worked with a lot of friends that, James and I both know, and that a lot of you on the audience will probably know, to bring it together. So there'll be 10 adventures, the first of which is written by myself and Harp. And then we kind of work our way forward from there. We have Jeff Stevens, Ben McFarland, Brian Suskin, Hannah Rose, Ashley Warren, Kiana Shaw, Bill Barnett, MT Black, Jonathan Fry, Anna Lind, and Gwendy B, Anna Meyer, Dyson Logos, Jesse Ross, and a lot of others, including Cobalt Press and Peterson Games, helping to put this together. I know I read that really fast. They'll be on the Indiegogo page, I promise. But the long and the short of it is, I found a lot of creatives whose names you see on products from Cobalt Press, from Peterson Games, from Wizards of the Coast, and from other big name publishers. And we're all donating our time, our efforts, and our talents for this good cause. And the book, again, it's going to be 10 adventures that are linked. 95% of the art is going to be original. Sandy and Wolfgang both helped me out with a few pieces on the side just to make sure we have a lot of art. And I just couldn't be more excited about it. September 3rd is the day the Kickstarter starts.
Wow. It is an incredible story. So first of all, my hat is off to you in so many ways. Obviously, as a father, as a fundraiser, as a game designer, as a project manager, this is a massive, massive project. Putting together 10 adventures like this is not at all easy. And you have some of the best people, including yourself, in the community working on this. And it is just a really, really cool thing. How did you get the idea to do this, amid everything else I'm sure you've had to do to help take care of Harper?
You know what? She's been leading the charge the whole time, one way or the other, in the hospital and outside. And one of the reasons we chose, or the reason actually we chose Friends of Kids with Cancer is on the second day there, or is it the third day? We got admitted on a Saturday. And on Monday, Harp had just come out of surgery for her port. And what that is basically an implanted device that allows you to get your medication very easily into an appropriate artery, because chemo you can't just get through the arm. So she was in there. She comes home. She's not in the best of moods. She's tired. She's upset, and we all are. And then the young lady, Kelly, comes in, and she's from the Child Life Services, and she says, "Harper, I have a gift." And that was the first time her eyes kind of lit up for 3 days, maybe longer, honestly. And Friends of Kids with Cancer gave her a gift card, which gave us, and again, I talked to them about Harper, and I actually presented this to Friends of Kids with Cancer's board about a month ago. And they gave us our first good day. And that's really what it all boils down to, is I want to help them give some other kids. And I want all of us and all of you to help me do that. Give a kid a good day, that first good day. And so after we did that, Harper got her gift card. She literally sent me out of the room, basically right after Kelly, to go to spend that money. And she's like, "I want this. Go to Target now, Dad." And she was who she had been before she started getting sick. And I don't know, like I said, I messed up every time I think about it still. And so anyway, a couple weeks later, we were in the hospital for almost a month, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And we started talking about it, and she actually kind of came up with this idea, and it's going to be a path. So it is an adventure path, so it's a little bit linear. Let's just say adventure paths are linear, and that's okay. So the way we're writing it, though, there are going to be kind of two pathways, and it is written for ages 10 and up because Harp's 9 and she plays, or she will be 9. And one path is very straightforward. Go there, do this, go there, do this, beat this guy, you're done. Another path that you can do at the same time or in parallel is going to be more about learning actually what's really going on behind the story, behind the scenes in the forest, and what's causing the corruption within the forest. And eventually, when you identify that person, trying to see what you can do to help redeem him and bring him back. Because I'm trying to remember how much I put in the site in the Indiegogo because I don't want to give it all away. But I can tell you there are aspects of it that actually really can play into and actually really takes pieces away from the journey that she goes through and that, kids and adults go through every single day. I know this, that I'm a pharmacist in my real life, and that I am also work in oncology. And I mean, one of the things is that there is a plague within the forest. And that's what you're doing is you're trying to find a cure. And then you find out what's actually causing the plague. And there are some analogies and metaphors and things going on there that might go over the head of a 10-year-old. But that's okay. But they're there. And it's a really, really neat story, that Harper helped us kind of get, I want to do something in a story. And I want to have an arch druid is what she decided. And it's funny. She looked at Dyson Logos maps, which are amazing. And we all know that. And she actually looked at Dyson's maps and said, that's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. Write a story, Dad. And she helped me and it worked. So one of the stretch goals, we don't have any stretch goals because to be perfectly honest, I want this book to provide the largest donation possible. This isn't about me making any money. This isn't about anybody making any money except for giving them a donation. I promise you the art will be amazing and I promise you it will be there, but there are going to be the stretch goals are going to be, we hit $12,000. That's a $3,000 check. The stretch goals are basically going to be like that.
This is so incredible and like inspiring. It sounds like Harper was really, really involved in the sort of process of outlining this adventure.
Yeah, so definitely in the beginning, her and I worked it out together. Like we literally sat down at a table, put it to a piece of paper, and then the writers, which this was amazing. So I love everyone involved in this. They are all friends of mine, and I care about them all deeply. But and I say this with love. This is herding cats. There are 10 writers, 2 artists, actually 3 artists, 10 writers, 2 editors. I mean, there's a lot of us doing stuff. And, I wanted a lot of perspectives. I wanted a lot of diversity within the actual creators as well. And also everybody is making concessions to, again, make sure this gets a big donation as possible. And so I didn't want to put anybody under pressure and say that, put this huge burden on them. And everybody wanted to help. I actually ended up I had to turn people away because I had too many people. But so Harper did get a lot of that. And then the rest of us, we kind of threw it onto a piece of paper on Discord and on Google Docs and just beat it up. I had a couple phone calls with a few folks to beat it up some more. And we're actually kind of writing it in sequence. So I wrote the first adventure. Jeff wrote the second one. It's done. Ben is finishing the third one right now. And actually, we're basically building on it. I mean, we have a basic outline, but each chapter is done. And as it's done, the next person kind of polishes their piece as it goes. And it's been really neat. One of the very few stretch goals is actually I'm going to get as many of Harper's drawings and stuff from her notebooks, and we'll put it in the adventure. We'll put it in the back as an appendix. So there's a couple pretty cool ones, and she's a better artist than I am.
I mean, that's excellent. It is an incredible thing. And, for people who are listening, the fact that you get to support a great cause and get an awesome adventure by extremely professional designers is just, what's better than that, right? Like where do you get better? And it sounds like it's going to be full of character and charm and an amazing message, and you can play it with kids. I mean, all of this is incredible. So how, are there any challenges? So last time you were here, we were talking about let's say an adventure that maybe you wouldn't necessarily play with kids. I think that's probably fair to say, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So what's the difference then, in writing, when you're writing something, keeping a younger audience in mind?
That's funny. So I have a huge smile on my face because I'm laughing. Yeah. So the last adventure I wrote on my own for Saturday morning scenarios is a gothic horror sanitarium. It is in no way. The kids have seen the art, and honestly, this is odd. Harper actually helped me with some of the art in it when I was creating the art, but she hasn't read the book. And many of my friends and contacts in tabletop gaming and authors in general are actually horror. So it was funny because, especially me, Ben, Brian, so Ben McFarlane, Brian Suskin, and Donathan Fry, the four of us really actually love horror. And we really like very challenging adult themed games. And it was pretty funny because we're giving all these ideas, we're throwing them out. We're saying this and this, and we kept having to kind of keep each other honest and saying, you know what, I love it, but this is for 10-year-olds. So we're going to tone this down, or we're going to kind of move away from there, or we're going to do something else like that. And the thing is, though, like Ben, Brian both have kids. Actually, one of Brian's daughters actually helped me put a piece of art in this. I felt actually it was really kind of challenging for me to write something that's investigative, which is what I do like a lot, but also make sure I didn't make it dark. Because it's not dark. It's not a dark story, but it is going to be an interesting one. And again, you're right. There was definitely a shift for a few of us, probably about four of us, especially, that had to be like, okay, we've been writing either like Cthulhu Mythos stuff for D&D or something for Chaosium or something for somebody else. And like, oh, we're going to have to pull this back and, kind of stretch ourselves a little bit. And it was hard, but it was really fun. It was really nice to kind of neat to do something different like that.
It's great to challenge yourself. And it seems to me like you're always doing that. Like that, I cannot, some designers have a style that they're comfortable working in or something. It seems like you're comfortable working in every style, Matt. Because we see things like Tales from the Old Margrave, and then we see things like the, Harper's Tale, and obviously both are forest related, but like, there's a lot of forests in fantasy. There's just a lot of interesting, cool stuff going on. Do you like to work on different genres and challenge yourself like that?
I do. And so we'll take a slight detour from Harper's Tale for just a moment. So one of the things that I worked on, actually, while Harper was going through this, for Sandy Peterson. So Sandy Peterson, Wolfgang Bauer gave me my first chance at Tales of the Margrave as the lead developer. Sandy handed me an outline and some notes and said, write a book. And Sandy's awesome and definitely a legend. It was cool. But so I wrote with Sandy Peterson, Ghoul Island, which is a 15 adventure path. It's about 300 plus pages long. It'll be in 4 books. And I'm saying this now because it's not announced yet. So you have a scoop, James. Yes, I know. Ghoul Island will actually be a Kickstarter, the next Kickstarter from Peterson Games. And funny enough, it's actually it's going on during Harper's Tale, but it'll be on Kickstarter. And it is from September 9th for about a week or 2. It's going to be a short one. And it will, again, let you get there. And what you'll do is you're going to be getting an adventure path. And Ghoul Island, it is 5th edition rules. However, it is very steeped in mythos. And it is a investigative type horror adventure on an island. And it is a closed environment, which was really interesting. And from a design perspective, world building perspective, actually had a lot of fun challenges in it. And also with the fact that, since it's mythos, you have to have an elder god in there, working your way up from literally you have 5 hit points to you are a 15th level character fighting a mythos entity.
Holy.
It's super cool. And I had so much fun, and it was so completely different, and I loved it. And, I'm working on 2 more of those with Sandy right now too.
Yeah. You don't hear a lot about like fighting the mythos entities, No.
Yeah. So this is more Robert Howard, maybe more some of the ones where you do have a fighting chance, but hopefully you'll probably have a few scars along the way. But anyway, back to your thing. So yeah, I have some serious ADD at times, and I really like to have very different projects going at once. Like right now, I have Harper's Tale. I'm consulting on a book for Sandy, and then writing a book for Sandy, which are both completely different. One's kind of a jungle one, and the other one's actually off planet, which will be super cool. I'm really excited about that one. And I'm doing some work for Infinite Black. They've never been in the tabletop. Like, they're a fantastic dice company. They have amazing, beautiful dice, and they are actually working into a 5th edition book as well, which I'm helping them with. And I finally talked Mike Mason and Lynn Hardy into letting me do something for them. So I'm actually going to write a chapter for Chaosium, also on the Call of Cthulhu rule set, which is incredibly fun because I love having stuff that's steeped kind of like in reality, in the actual real world. But again, if I don't have a bunch of different projects, I have a habit of just kind of getting a little bit burned out. So.
Yeah, I understand that. That makes a lot of sense as somebody who often has many irons in the fire.
I'm sure.
So in Harper's Tale, give me some of the, like the mechanical bits. What levels are we talking here? Are there new monsters, magic items, that kind of thing?
Sure. So kind of the bits and pieces. So we wanted to keep it relatively straightforward. It is actually intended for kiddos and anybody ages, 9 to 99 that have basically an SRD or a starter kit. There are going to be 10 adventures. Each adventure is 1 level. And that's something that I actually kind of push for anytime I write something. I do milestone leveling because it's much, much easier for the DM. It's also easier for me as a designer and as someone who is telling a story, so that I know what level you're going to be at what point, so that I can kind of adjust as needed throughout that. And I can also progress the story to account for your levels and build the story that way. So, 1 level at first, the first adventure is the Grove, which I wrote, which is first level. At the end of that, you're second. At the end of the second, you're third, so on and so forth, until you end up basically in a volcano with the climax. And at that point, you're 10th level. There will definitely be some new monsters, new items as well throughout. All the designers have very free reign to kind of do whatever they want. They have been given a very vague budget as far as space, and said you can certainly go over it if you want. If you go like 50% over it, just let me know, and we'll adjust down if necessary. So, we have our protagonist, which is Ethor, who is kind of the main person. And when you see the Indiegogo page, you'll see him. He has a sad little guy. But some of the NPCs in my own adventure are actually Rose and almost said my daughter's first names. So Harper Rose is my daughter. And so one of the protagonists, or one of the main characters there, is Rose, who's Harp. And then of course her sister Lily, who is Grace, which is her middle name. I was very creative there.
It's nice for them.
You know what? They've both been it. They were both in Tales of the Margrave.
Oh, yeah.
Lily was actually the main character in Vengeful Heart. Yeah, and Harper was in there too a little bit. And then Harper actually shows up in Ghoul Island in the dream world, or in Dreamlands, as a powerful dreamer. But anyway, so my girls show up in it, and I'm sure everybody else is going to put in different people and different NPCs. And Gwendy B and Anna Landon have both lent their talents to this. Gwendy did a lot of work on Uncaged. Anna has done work all over, and they're amazing. The art is very different than what I did in Sanitarium Adventure, of course. But again, I think I'm going to have around, how many pieces of new art? 45 pieces of art. So we're still going to be pretty art heavy. And that's what, again, I know we already mentioned it, but that's what I want everybody to know. It's like, yes, this is a fundraiser. Yes, this is a donation to a point. But you will be getting a book that I think, and I hope, or my expectation is that it is a book that will compare well to anything that Wizards or Cobalt or Peterson puts out. And, I feel like my last book does that as well. And honestly, that's my standard. And so you will definitely be getting something you're happy with, and it will not feel, and will be professional. So
that's really, really cool. I love to hear all of the different ways people are going to be working in on this, and all of the cool stuff that people will be able to get from this adventure. Hey everyone, we're going to take a quick break and then back to the babble. Hey everybody, I just wanted to let you know that this episode of Tabletop Babble is brought to you by D&D Beyond, the official digital tool set and game companion for Dungeons & Dragons. So, you can use D&D Beyond to build characters, track campaigns, run adventures, and do so much more. In fact, they have an encounter builder that's currently in alpha. There are awesome freebies like the D&D basic rules, articles from great writers like James J. Hake, Ashley Warren, DC, videos from Todd Kenrick, so much more. The incredible D&D Beyond team is always updating the site with new features and improvements. So, go check out the already a dope platform because there's always more coming. And don't forget that D&D Beyond can make your own play experiences better. It certainly improved my designing. Love to have it open while I design. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm here. Ding, ding, dink. And there we go. So go check it out, D&D Beyond. Tell them DSPN sent you. Let's get back to the babble.
As far as the actual story goes, what can you tell us beyond what you've already mentioned?
Yeah, so the adventure starts with the heroes going to the town of Grove, and they find a town that is essentially deserted. Through their investigations, they get an idea of why, and they also meet the sisters, Grace and Rose, who are taking care of everybody else. And in their investigations, they start to uncover a plot which leads them underneath the town. When they get underneath the town, which is the second adventure, they realize that someone actually did this intentionally to Grove. And they start to piece together as they move forward who is doing, or they start to figure out, they see a pattern. Then they work their way to find out who it is and who is causing all of these different things. Through interactions with a archdruid whose name is Ding. And then after they find Ding and they realize who it is. And then again, as they go forward, they realize these are the ways that he helps them learn to fight the plague the right way, or the affliction of the forest. And as they do that, they also kind of get pulled into some of the, I don't want to say it's a Cold War because that's kind of an adult term, but the force itself has different factions within it. They're going to have to placate both factions to be able to get the ingredients that they need to cure the affliction. And then as they do that too, they learn more and more and more the backstory, because the person behind it all, his intentions are actually good. It's just that he is so focused on one thing. He is in one of those, greater good situations, and where he has such a strong personal stake in it that he's willing to take the risk, and he's willing to pay the price, or for others to pay the price for what he needs. And that's where it gets really interesting, is toward the ends, is when, again, you really find out, Ethor did all of these things to this entire forest, and these horrible things that were very, were definitely not nice and were pretty bad. But he did them for kind of sort of an okay, good reason. And you have to decide, in stopping him, how do you stop him? There's more than one way. I mean, this is a role-playing game. There are an infinite number of ways. Do you just fight him? Do you find out what's going on? Do you help him get what he wants, or get to that goal in a way that benefits everyone and stops everybody from hurting? Do you help him save the person that he's trying to save? And I just said more than I probably should have, but that's okay. So again, it's outbreak after outbreak. So there's going to be outbreaks, and then you are going to learn how to fight them and harvest them. And it's really a neat, interesting story. I wish I could do more justice, but I feel like every time I start thinking about what I'm going to say, I'm like, oh, I'm going to give something away that I shouldn't. But again, there's two parallel paths. One is very straightforward, very easy to follow. The other one is a much kind of a deeper line, where you can do some very, very fun role-playing things. When talking to that group, which I know virtually all of them, it's very important to all of us that there be a non-violent solution. I'm all for the murder hobo stuff when it makes sense, but I'm also, the way I write in general is you will be rewarded for thinking and paying attention and being investigative. And that's the way we play. We have all pretty much written our stuff, is that you will have a way. You can certainly get through the entire thing with very, very few fights, as long as you're smart and you make the effort, and that's what you want to do. And again, we also made an effort to be very, to have a very wide cast of people and the illustrations and everywhere. So again, I think I could have done a little bit better with the sanitarium, with Lampslight, with as far as the images being more inclusive. I think I did good with male versus female, but I don't think I did a good enough job with depicting various ethnic groups. And so, with everybody, we're making sure that we are making this game. We want kids to see this and see somebody that vaguely looks like them, at least. It was very important for us to be very inclusive and to make sure it looked like a game that you could see yourself in.
Very important to do that, I think, in a lot of products, but especially for kids. And the other thing that I think is especially important to do for kids and new players in general is have that wealth of options. Have the, hey, you can do more than just hack your way through this adventure. You can if you want to, right? Like you said, good fun, nothing wrong with that. But if you want to take a different tact, if you want to be more clever and have a more interesting story, you're able to do that as well. And I think that's really, really important for kids, especially as they're getting into the game, because I think about new players all the time, even adult new players who I play with who, you sit down and it's like, you can do anything you want in this game. Oh, wait, not that. No, you can't. I'm sorry. You can't do that. There's no rule for that. There's no, like that. You don't want that kind of adventure or that kind of DM experience for new players because they're going to say, well, this is what was advertised. You want what we think of as the game. And it sounds like you're really providing that, which is great. Like I said, especially for kids, because you are robbing yourself of a great experience if you limit kids.
Yeah. So a couple other things that we're doing, so there's a few kind of experiments here. One of the things, so I just kind of go over the tiers a little bit too. So, everybody's got that $1 tier. So that's what you do if you just want to watch or just give whatever. We're going to have a $5 tier, and the $5 tier is going to be a no art PDF. It will be fully edited. It will be professionally laid out, but there just won't be any art. And so, we've talked about that. I've seen that a lot of talk about that online and Twitter and everywhere else about, making the ability or kind of making that cost threshold to get in there cheap. I mean, D&D can be pretty cheap. However, books can be expensive. You can get the rules for free. And so what we're going to do, though, is so you'll get the entire Harper's Tale for $5. It will be at the very least a PDF. I need to price what it will be to be an EPUB or a Mobi. I really kind of want to do it, so I probably will no matter what it costs. But I just want to make sure I'm not hitting the donation too much. Because, again, I actually think an EPUB of the RPG books are fantastic. I love them.
Oh, they're great. So good to have.
Few people do them, but I love them. Like Fred does them for Evil Hat. Chaosium actually did them for Call of Cthulhu for the big book, and I think they might have done it for one or two of the other ones. And I absolutely love it. I like it more than the PDF, as for in most cases. So we're going to do that, and it's only $5. So it's not too expensive. Hopefully, folks can afford that. And then we're going to hit kind of the more normal tiers, and these will sound familiar to folks that have seen my Kickstarters or whatever in the past. So, you'll be Harper's eFriend as a PDF, $15. $21 is a print on demand. So we're going to do just like we did last time. I'm not going to mess with shipping. I'm not going to put myself in that stress or that risk. So for $21, you'll get a PDF, and you also get an at-cost coupon, or not coupon, a code for Drive-Thru RPG, in which case they will print it and they will ship it to you. They have shipping centers throughout the world, so you do not have to pay $100 to ship it to wherever it is, which is ridiculous the way shipping is these days. And contrary to popular belief, none of the role-playing game designers that I'm aware of actually own the post office or set those rates. So that's a little joke. But yeah, Drive-Thru does a fantastic job printing. The print on demand, if you haven't done it lately, you should do it again. Because like your own book, like Demon Plague turned out fantastic. My book turned out great. My book is super art heavy. And they did a fantastic job. They look like anything. And with this book, so since we're on this one, well, we'll get to that. The next tier up is going to be a $45. And this tier is actually called Friends of Kids with Cancer. And we haven't even actually talked about what the kids with cancer or the friends of kids are actually getting. And so with this one, you're going to get the PDF. You're going to get your name in the book. And you're actually going to give a book to Friends of Kids with Cancer. I personally will get it. I will get that printed out and I will hand it to them. Harper and I will drive over there and we will give them a crate of books. So that's the $45 one is, again, you get your own PDF and then you buy a book for a kid to have and for the organization to dispense however they choose. There's the next one up from that, which is $65. And that one's called One for You and One for Me. And it is what it sounds like. You get a book, you get the coupon for the book, and then Friends of Kids also get a hardback handed to them. So with the times when we get a book for Friends of Kids, the fee does include all the printing and shipping. And we'll actually ship it to my house and I will drive it to them and hand it to them with Harper. So that's $65. Dedicated friend is our next one. So a lot of these are going to be a little bit somewhat limited. So the dedicated friend is, again, you get a book, you give a book, you get the PDF. You also get a chance to name a location within the book. So there's only 20 of these right now. I may make that a little higher. But you get to name an NPC item or location within the book itself after anybody you want. So you can name it after somebody that you care about or someone who you think would really appreciate having their name in a book. And I can think of a few folks right now. So, that's the way you can give, if you want an NPC named after someone that you care about, you can get them in there. And part of me really wants to make that way bigger than 20 because I really want to see a lot of kids and I just want to see a lot of folks' names in there, to be perfectly honest. The next one we have after that, and this is going to be a little bit more exclusive, is I have two of my designers have agreed to play games, to run a game online of their specific adventure. So you will get to, it's a little bit more expensive. It's $75. So you get the PDF, you get your book, all that stuff. This one doesn't include a book to Friends of Kids, which will be an option later on. But you get to have you get to, again, play with, right now it's probably going to be the 4th adventure and the 10th adventure, I think is what we're looking at. But the author of the adventure is actually going to run you through it.
What?
Yeah. So I'll be honest, I bailed on this one. I'm sorry. I am so busy.
Well, yeah, it sounds like you've got a lot going on. I think you're forgiven.
I know, but two of my designers agreed to it. And it was incredibly generous of them for their time to do that, because that is a lot of fun and it is very hard. I'll be honest with you. But that's a really neat chance to get to run a game that by the person who wrote it, which is really, really cool. And the last one we have is Kid's Best Friend. And in this one, you give a book, you get a book, you do all that stuff. You also get to work with the designers to create really anything you want, a location, an item, an NPC, something. So almost all of us are doing that. And you will get to do something to get whatever you want into the book itself. And, kind of like what I did with the lamp slide is you can be as involved or as hands off as you want. It's up to you. So if you just want to say, I want you to put my friend blank's name in there, here's a picture of her or him. We'll make it happen. This one also includes art. So again, if you want to have an NPC that is a friend of yours or someone that's special, send me a picture, send me a name. We'll just give us a few words and we'll take care of the rest and we'll get it in there. So that's a really neat one. It's a little expensive. I'll be honest, it's $200. But that's actually new art, 2 books, all sorts of stuff. And again, it's all going to Friends of Kids anyway. So I said no stretch goals, and I kind of meant it, but we do actually have a handful. And probably the most important stretch goal that I can do, or that I can kind of really talk about or kind of explain to you guys all, is that when we hit, so we're going to fund at $12,000. The $12,000 Friends of Kids gets $3,000. They get PDF copies to use however they want. And I kind of came up with this number in a couple different ways. And it is more important to me, and it's probably more important to the company, to the organization, to actually get some cash. And I don't know how else to say that much softer, but they are an organization that depends on donations. And so I wanted to make sure that no matter what, they got a good donation from us and from our efforts. That said, when we hit $15,000, they will still get $4,000, but now I will be handing them at a minimum 100 full color, soft cover adventure books. And so there's a couple different ways the books are going out there. So if a backer chooses to buy a book for them, they're getting it, period. if we don't hit at least 100 books, I will make sure we get there with the donations. We will not go much over 100 books because I did talk to them and they feel that that's probably enough for a couple years. And we all talked about it, and their board of directors felt that at that point, it's probably better to it would be a better use for actually, just to give them a donation. That said, if we will get a few extra books, and there's another organization called Pedal the Cause, which supports a lot of different leukemia, lymphoma, like a bunch of different sorts, who has requested a few books if we have extras. So anyway, so that's $15,000. We give them 100 softcover books. At $18,000, that donation, we now are giving them $6,000. The other thing is them and everybody getting a book is going to be upgraded automatically to a premium hardcover.
Wow.
What I do is if you get upgraded, or I'm not even going to say if, I think we're going to get there easily. When you get upgraded to the premium hardback, so you will get two codes. You'll get a softcover code and a hardcover code. So you'll get to buy 2 books at cost, should you choose. So you can give one away if you want. But yeah, every book that I hand to Friends of Kids will be a premium hardcover book, full color, and they are beautiful. They look so good. And then we just kind of go from there. At $25,000, it's $13,000. At $30,000, it's $18,000. As you can see, the vast majority of this, once we hit costs, it's all going straight to them. And we did everything we could to keep those costs down, and I don't know. I would love to see this go crazy. We have support from everyone. So I guess that's something we could talk about too. So I'm going to be running the first game on the Cobalt Press Twitch site.
Yes.
And D&D Beyond is being amazing. And they will be, is co-streaming the right word? Piggybacking, signal,
hosting the stream?
Yes, hosting. See, this technical terms you kids have. So it'll be both on Cobalt Press and on D&D Beyond's Twitch at the same time. Right now, I have a good friend who is battling lymphoma herself. That's going to be one of the players. Harper, I hope, is going to help me DM. Depends on the time we pick. We don't know the time yet. I have a best-selling author that is a horror author that I am excited to see. She is going to try to go on, and we have a couple other streamers and influencers on the list. When I have the time set and the people set, I will definitely let everyone know, but we will have... Again, it'll be on Cobalt Press. It will be on D&D Beyond. WotC is supporting us tremendously. I can't give guarantees, but I've heard rumblings of legendary bundles being given away, possibly. I know that I lost count of how many PDFs and books that we are going to be giving away. 20 different companies have offered to support us with products. So please watch. We will be giving away a ton of stuff. Gosh, I can't even. I'll have to put a post out later to let everybody know what it is, but it's a lot. So
yeah, that's actually a massive amount of information. So it'll be good for people to be able to have that. In fact, you know what I think people should do right now? They should probably go check it out, don't you think?
Yes. So
where should they go if they want to do that?
Best thing to do right now is actually go to my couple places. So go to my Twitter, Matthew D. Corley is my Twitter. I will have a pinned post telling you where everything is. We will be on Indiegogo. Now, there are reasons for that, and I am happy that with what our partnership is with them. And so it's a little different than the Kickstarter, but again, it's going to be great. So it'll be Indiegogo. It will be under Harper's Tale. But until I don't have that URL just yet. So again, everything will be at my Twitter, and that's the best place to go. On my Twitter, there's also going to be a server that you can sign up to get updates on any project that I'm doing. But right now, that's all Harper's Tale stuff.
Okay, so if you're listening to this podcast right now, like I said in the intro, and as I will say again in the outro, you should go check it out. This is for a really great cause. It has amazing designers on it. There's like no downside here. So go check it out right now. Head on over, see what is happening. Is there anything else, Matt, we should talk about that I haven't asked you about that you wanted to get to?
Let's see. So if we want something totally different, again, go to Drive-Thru RPG. You can look up Saturday Morning Scenarios to find books by me. Lampslight Sanitarium is my gothic horror book, which
good.
is, thank you.
So good.
It was so much fun, and I'm actually making a tiniest bit of money finally, which is really kind of exciting too. I even actually have a little bundle outside the sanitarium book. If you don't want to, it's only like $18 for the 200-page PDF, but I did do another one bundle that has all the insanity rules I wrote, plus all the magic items and all the, not magic items because there's not a lot of magic, but all the NPCs and all the equipment, I guess, that I wrote with a lot of art. That's only like $7.99 and it's over 100 pages long. It's a pretty good. If you want NPCs that nobody is expecting, that's where you go. Trust me. Nobody will have any idea what the hell you're bringing out there. If you grab the NPCs from the Lamplight Sanitarium People of Interest bundle, I think is what I called it. And the sanity rules are pretty fun too. What else is going on? So yeah, I have a Twitch show with Will Jones. We actually have guests on occasion. We are kind of working our way through all the different design guides and that Cobalt Press has put out over the year. They're fantastic, and we're picking and choosing on kind of what we want to talk about. And Will and I discuss it with a guest on occasion. That is on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, every other Monday night, and that's actually been a whole lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm just kind of staying busy with everybody and just really enjoying things. Actually, it's been a long summer, but girls are doing great. Family's doing great. I'm pretty excited about everything that's going on too.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. You should be very excited and very proud. And please tell Harper that we are all excited to read her adventure when we get it in our hands. Thank you so much for joining me today on Tabletop Babble. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. And I can't wait to come back.
Hey, everybody, that was a great podcast with Matthew D. Corley. He is amazing. You know, if you want to support this show after you go check out Harper's Tale, because that is the most important thing, that you go check that out first and give them your money and get that amazing adventure and help fight cancer. Come on, what's better? What's better than that? After that, if you still have some money left over and you want to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/Introcaso. That's patreon.com/INTROCASO. And you can help steer the direction of this show. That's right. For as low as $1 a month, you get a monthly survey. It's quick. It's short. It takes less than like 2 minutes to fill out. And you get to decide on upcoming topics we're going to have on the show. I love hearing your voice. It's another way for people to communicate with me. We got a little comment section. You can write in how handsome I am, or you assume I am. That's why I do podcasts. Let this voice speak for itself. Hello, everybody out there. There's also some extras for me, live chat if you do want to see my face, plus a little bit of extra content every single month. So go check it out at patreon.com/Introcaso. And hey, there's another way to support the show, and all it costs you is a tiny, tiny bit of time. I'm talking 30 seconds to create a free iTunes account, and then about a minute to write us a review. So head on over to iTunes, create a free account. You can rate us, all the podcasts you love. We'll appreciate it. It helps other people find the show. And even if you're not using Apple Podcasts or iTunes to listen to the show, odds are your podcatcher app is using those algorithms to rate and recommend podcasts. So come on. And if you leave us a 5-star review, I'll read it out loud. You can make me say anything at all you want. So, for instance, you could make me say anything like Bat Suitman from the US, who left a review entitled Expertly Crafted Deep Dive into Role-Playing Games. Bat Suitman says, I am not a tabletop player, but I just love fantasy settings. Wow, that's awesome. This show scratches my fantasy itch because it dissects tabletop gaming, giving me insight into the richness of those game worlds and introduces me to creatives behind them. James Introcaso, that's me, is a talented interviewer, just as knowledgeable as he is humble and a creative himself. So, the dialogues he has with other creatives is so stimulating that it feels like you could be at the table with them. That's what we shoot for. Thank you. This is made more impressive when you realize his guests aren't in studio. Tabletop Babble has excellent sound quality. Episodes are fairly long, but they move at such a brisk pace and engage the listener the whole way through that they feel way too short. That's okay, though, because new episodes are uploaded regularly and there's a huge back catalog. Well, thank you so much for this review, Batsutman. I really, really appreciate it, especially because, as you said, you're not a tabletop player. You just love fantasy settings. Pretty awesome that you're listening to this podcast. I really, really appreciate it, and I appreciate the review. All right, people, you can find me on Twitter at James Introcaso. That's at JamesIntrocaso. Also, check out worldbuilderblog.com for all of the cool game design stuff I'm doing and a lot of content on there as well. Speaking of huge back catalogs, go check it out. Tabletop Babble is a show on the Don't Split the Podcast Network. Thanks to Rudy Basso for founding it with me. Our theme music, which you're listening to right now, was provided by BattleBards. Don't forget, RPGs are like sex. Hey everybody, before we end, I just wanted to let you know that this episode of Tabletop Babble was brought to you by the amazing people at 1985 Games and Dungeon Craft. So Dungeon Craft is a Kickstarter that has recently completed, but you are going to want to go check it out anyway. See if you can get in on this after the fact. Why? Because it is an easy way to build awesome battle maps. We are talking about a cool book that's just filled with all kinds of giant maps and little icons, and you can tear them out and they fit together and you create a great battle map that's got all these images. You don't have to draw an embarrassing circle like me every time. All my dungeons are a circle or a square because I can't draw anything else. This prevents that. They got houses. They've got all kinds of minis, so characters in there. Plus, they got great details. They got ships. They got whirlpools. They got all kinds of awesome stuff. Why? Because this Kickstarter blew through the stretch goals. Blew through them. Raised over $300,000 because people want this. It is incredible. The Dungeon Craft team is so amazing. You're going to want to go check it out, okay? So listen, here's what you got to do. Go to www.1985games.com. Here's how you'll remember it. 1985 is the year I was born, okay? It's a little note there for y'all. When you make my Wikipedia page, you can check it out. Okay, 1985games.com. Go check it out. Pre-order a copy. Okay, the Kickstarter's over, but you can still pre-order a copy right now as we're talking. Go get Dungeon Craft. Build amazing battle maps in moments right in front of your players. Over 1,000 map pieces in this incredible book. All right, check it out. I know I can't wait to go get a copy. All right, talk to you later.